okay, let's say we close them, make the deal, celebrate, we get excited, and then you get that call a week later from the candidate saying, I've been counter-offered. What do you do?
Oops. Yeah. I always say to consultants, there are very few issues that we can't resolve for you. And one of them is when you haven't prepared that candidate for the counter offer and it comes at you. And I think from a psychological perspective, when you get that bad news then, and you haven't had conversations with the candidate, to reverse out of that process puts you as a recruiter in a very tight spot, because I think, and I can hear it, I can hear when a consultant's talking to somebody, they've got so much pressure that they start fighting for the deal, and the candidate can feel that. And it's sort of the relationship gets a little bit tarnished at that point, because they feel that you're in it for yourself now and that you're not supporting them in their decision. So I like taking it back. To a point where there's a bit of love between a candidate and a client, and I can see that the process is going towards that final stage. I make a conversation time with a candidate and say to them, and this is for me a coaching thing, this is an added service for me, where you put them in that spot, and some of them have gone through counter offers and some of them haven't. So if they have gone through the process, it's just that reminder. But if they haven't, just say to them, this is why it happens. This is when it happens. This is what you're going to be feeling. This is what you're going to be experiencing. And your objectivity is really important, because you need to build credibility at that point, where the candidate really understands that you are giving them that information to act in their best interest. So I do a pros and a cons. I say to them, there are counter offers that we've seen that have been beautiful and that have worked out perfectly, but then you are at risk in certain points, and just to point out those risks so that they're just informed. And when they go through the process and they see that you've pretty much mapped and visualized with them what it's going to look like, there's a lot of trust in them coming back to you saying, all right, it happened exactly like you told me it's going to happen. And that's when they ask you advice. But if you come in cold and you're trying to save it without any context, I think that's where it doesn't work. So for me, there's a pocket, and there's literally a 20, 30-minute conversation with that candidate when it's not relevant, to say, if this happens, I want you to be ready, armed, stay in control of your decision. Whatever decision you make, these are the things that you need to look out for.